Good morning. We are resuming. It's coffee time with Andrew. This is phase 2.0, and I'm going to pick up where I left off. So, this is episode 101. I wanted to start doing these once again. You've probably been following me along, and you see that I was going to do them as a different type of show at the park, but that didn't work out too well. So I'm back here just sitting in my office, my little studio office, you could say. And there are a few things. Today, I believe, is the 4th or 3rd, something like that, the 4th of January. So we're starting off new. I've started a new podcast, a video podcast over on Spotify. It's called Behavior by Design, Training for Change. And I hope to go over more behavioral theory there. And this is going to probably be a lot like the old It's Coffee Time with Andrew, where I just kind of go over things that I'm working on and little insights I have, books that I've read, that sort of thing. But one of the projects I'm working on now is exploring affirmations. How many of you believe that affirmations are helpful? Come on over to my YouTube and put them in the comments if you're seeing this on YouTube. Otherwise, you can comment wherever you're seeing it, except maybe on my website. But if you're on Facebook or one of those others, you could also comment there. But I am interested in finding out how people feel about affirmations, because I've always had my own interpretation of their usefulness. And there are really two kinds that we are talking about. One is the hypnosis influenced self-affirmation. This is like the Tony Robbins affirmation, the NLP. And then there's also the more psychological affirmation. And this is more where a lot of research has been done. Now, how do we combine those two? That's a good question. And how do they apply to the average person? Well, I think the NLP affirmation can work for a small percentage of people really, really well. But I think that it also is not ideal for everyone. And there's a lot of things that go into this. Your level of susceptibility to hypnosis, I think that's a big part of it. Your level of self-esteem, what's going to work best for you, how you do your problem solving, what your orientation is. All of these things determine which of these two methods you should employ. And how I have always used the first one, the NLP method, is a little bit different. It's more behavioral, more like a behavioral analytics type of approach as a prompt. So when I've been reading research papers, it seems that how I use it probably uses the same neuro regions, the same parts of the brain that the more psychological affirmations use. And I have not really read any research about the NLP version, so I need to start digging into that. And that's kind of the direction I'm taking for, I don't know how long till I'm satisfied, maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. And that's kind of a side project to some other projects I'm working on, which of course is the canine method. And this all plays into it because the affirmations, if they're used appropriately, probably influence most parts of the canine method. So they definitely influence change strategy if you're using it that way. They influence not so much narrative, nonverbal influence, but indirectly they do. But acceptance and adaptability. They're important there. And then the narrative influence, they're pretty important there. And if they're done properly with the proper instructional design, they should have a follow-on effect that reinforces it, a more behavioral approach, of course. And they're important there. And then for emotional homeostasis, that's one of some of the foundational research, I think, was done with that. So they can be quite important if used appropriately and sequenced right. So timing and tempo is a very important thing. So they need to be put in the right position, the right temporal position for the success to be noticed. And this is something that John Boyd talked about. So how does this apply to his theories? Well, it sets your orientation, which is very important. So you observe, orient. So that's a huge thing. But the other thing is it employs tempo and timing, the subtleties that make it successful. And that's something that may take some insight and artfulness to employ. And I've thought about how I can use this in my standard training process as well as the canine method that I have developed. And I think that it would be effective, although I think the people who are actually paying me to accomplish a specific task would not see it that way. I have a hard enough time getting them to do the self-reinforcing drills that will lead to success. I start them on the first lesson, but they often don't do them till the last lesson. So this is always a problem. And again, I'm working on ways to overcome this. I think that I may have discovered a way to do it. It just requires a lot more work. So basically, I'll be spending more hours for the same price. I already do that a lot anyway. I usually try to give more than I'm getting paid for in the hopes that, well, for one thing, better results. That's probably the main thing. Okay, well, I am going to go over a couple books, I think, next time. One I found quite interesting and has to do with homeostasis, which actually this affirmations, I think, can contribute to what I call social emotional homeostasis or emotional social homeostasis. And that is one of the key parts of the canine method. Okay, as always, I am wishing you the very best in life. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.